When people hear the word destroyer, they often imagine a fast, heavily armed warship cutting through rough seas with missiles ready and radar scanning the horizon. In the case of the US Navy FY2026 Destroyer program, that image becomes even more impressive because this vessel represents where modern naval warfare is heading. Rather than being just another update of older ships, this next-generation destroyer is expected to combine the combat experience of the legendary Arleigh Burke class with the advanced technology needed for future threats. It is designed to be smarter, more efficient, more survivable, and far more flexible than many ships currently in service. For viewers who are not military experts, think of it as a floating command center, missile fortress, anti-air shield, and submarine hunter all in one platform. The first thing that stands out about this destroyer is its mission versatility. Older warships were often optimized for one or two specific roles, but this vessel is expected to perform many jobs at once. It can escort aircraft carriers, defend fleets from incoming missiles, track enemy submarines, launch long-range strikes against land targets, and help control contested sea lanes. In simple terms, this means the ship is built to be useful in almost any crisis, whether that is a major war, regional conflict, or peacekeeping operation. Modern navies need ships that can switch roles quickly, and this destroyer is expected to do exactly that. Size and displacement are likely to be larger than current destroyers, giving the ship more room for weapons, sensors, fuel, and future upgrades. That extra space matters more than people realize. On warships, every ton counts. More internal volume means engineers can install new power systems, additional electronics, improved crew spaces, and next-generation weapons later in the ship's life. Instead of designing a ship that becomes outdated in 10 years, the Navy wants a vessel that can remain relevant for decades. That future growth margin may become one of the destroyer's biggest selling points. The design language of the ship is expected to be cleaner and more modern than previous generations. While it may not be fully stealth-shaped like some futuristic concepts, it will likely include radar-reducing angles, enclosed masts, smoother surfaces, and careful heat management to reduce detection. For a regular viewer, stealth at sea means making the ship harder to spot on radar and more difficult to target. It does not mean invisible, but it can buy valuable time during combat. Even a few extra seconds of delayed detection can be critical in missile warfare. One of the most important technical areas is power generation. This destroyer is expected to use an integrated or highly advanced power architecture capable of supporting energy-hungry systems. Why is that such a big deal? Because modern warships now need huge amounts of electricity not just for propulsion, but for radars, sensors, computing systems, electronic warfare gear, and future weapons like lasers or railgun-type technologies. Older ships were designed in a time when electrical demand was lower. Future destroyers need to think like mobile power stations. If the US Navy gets this right, it means the ship can accept powerful upgrades later without needing a complete redesign. Speed is always a topic people love, and while destroyers are not race boats, they are built for rapid response. This FY2026 vessel is expected to maintain strong sprint speeds while also improving fuel efficiency during long deployments. In real-world terms, the ship needs to move quickly to intercept threats but also stay at sea for long periods without constant refueling. Efficiency is just as important as raw speed because naval operations often depend on endurance. A ship that can remain deployed longer provides more value than one that is merely fast. The radar and sensor suite could be one of the most impressive features on board. Modern destroyers rely on advanced phased array radars that can track aircraft, missiles, drones, and surface threats simultaneously. Instead of rotating old-style radar dishes, these flat panel systems electronically steer beams almost instantly. That means faster target detection and quicker reaction times. For ordinary viewers, imagine the difference between an old security camera slowly turning versus a smart system that watches every direction at once. This destroyer is expected to continue that trend with even greater range, sharper tracking, and stronger resistance to jamming. Weapons capacity is another area where this vessel should shine. Vertical launch systems, or VLS cells, are likely to remain central to the design. These are deck-mounted launch tubes that can fire many different missiles. One cell might launch air defense interceptors, another anti-ship missiles, another land attack cruise missiles, and another anti-submarine rockets. That flexibility is a major advantage because commanders can tailor the ship's loadout depending on the mission. If tensions rise in one region, more anti-air missiles may be loaded. If land strikes are needed, cruise missiles can be prioritized. It is like changing the toolbox based on the job. Missile defense will likely remain one of the destroyer's strongest roles. With hypersonic weapons, ballistic missiles, drones, and cruise missiles becoming more common, fleet defense is no longer optional. This ship is expected to use layered defenses, long-range interceptors, medium-range missiles, close-in guns, decoys, and electronic warfare systems. Layered defense means if one system misses, another system still has a chance to stop the threat. In combat, redundancy saves lives. Speaking of guns, many people still ask if cannons matter in the missile age. The answer is yes. A destroyer gun remains useful for shore bombardment, warning shots, anti-small boat defense, and lower-cost engagements. Missiles are powerful but expensive. Sometimes using a naval gun is more practical. The future destroyer may also carry upgraded close-in defense weapons for incoming drones and missiles, giving it better short-range protection than older designs. Anti-submarine warfare is another critical mission. Submarines remain one of the deadliest threats at sea because they are difficult to detect and can strike unexpectedly. This destroyer is expected to carry sonar systems, towed arrays, torpedoes, and helicopters. Those helicopters dramatically expand the ship's reach, allowing crews to search wide areas with dipping sonar and sonobuoys. For viewers unfamiliar with naval tactics, think of the helicopter as the destroyer's eyes and ears far beyond the horizon. Crew comfort may not sound exciting, but it matters hugely in real operations. Modern deployments can be long and stressful. Better sleeping quarters, improved climate systems, quieter machinery, more automation, and smarter maintenance tools all improve morale and efficiency. If sailors are less fatigued, they perform better. Future warships increasingly recognize that crew performance is just as important as hardware. Automation is expected to reduce workload and possibly lower crew numbers compared with older ships of similar size. Smart monitoring systems can detect mechanical issues early, route power automatically, and assist damage control during emergencies. This does not remove the need for skilled sailors, but it lets them focus on combat and decision-making rather than repetitive manual tasks. In simple language, the ship becomes easier to run and faster to recover when something goes wrong. Survivability will be a major design priority. A destroyer operating in modern combat must expect missile attacks, cyber threats, electronic jamming, and potential battle damage. That means compartmentalized interiors, fire suppression systems, backup networks, armored critical zones, and strong damage control capability. Even if hit, the ship should be able to keep fighting or at least stay afloat long enough to save the crew. That resilience often separates a good design from a great one. Another unique selling point is upgrade potential. Many naval ships become limited because they were designed around yesterday's technology. This destroyer is expected to leave room for future sensors, software improvements, directed energy weapons, and evolving missile systems. In practical terms, it is like buying a high-end computer with extra expansion slots rather than one that cannot be upgraded. Strategically, this ship matters because the world's oceans are becoming more contested. Rival navies are growing, anti-ship missiles are spreading, and unmanned systems are changing tactics. The US Navy needs destroyers that can command task groups, protect carriers, and operate independently in dangerous regions. The FY2026 Destroyer concept aims